What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. Today, I'll be doing another NASCAR silly season update. I'll be recapping everything that's happened throughout the 2024 to 2025 NASCAR silly season. This includes driver moves, crew chief moves, and TV moves as well for the TV silly season. So anyways, let's go ahead and just jump straight into it. Silly season would begin early, as there were rumors and speculation beginning that Andretti Global could potentially be joining NASCAR. About a couple weeks ago, they put out a video saying they're very interested in joining NASCAR in the future. There's been rumors that they could partner up with a team like Spire Motorsports, as Gamebridge has a big partnership with both Andretti and Spire. We could see Andretti potentially join NASCAR in the near future. Then there's been a lot of talk about Matt Benedetto returning to Viking Motorsports in 2025. Matt Benedetto is making a lot of starts so far with Viking throughout the year, and we do think there's a really great chance and possibility that Matt Benedetto will return to Viking Motorsports in the 2025 season. Then in early May, there began to be a lot of rumors about Kroger leaving JTG Daugherty Racing at the end of this year. Originally, it was rumored they were going to be going over to Joe Gibbs Racing to sponsor them for 2025, but it sounds like now that instead of going to Joe Gibbs Racing, they're going to be headed over to RFK Racing. This could lead RFK Racing to expand to a three-car operation in 2025. We do think they'll be leaving JTG Daugherty, and the ownership group will be changing. Speaking of JTG Daugherty, a couple days after this, it was announced that Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has signed a 3-year extension with JTG Daugherty Racing to continue driving number 47 car. It's still unknown what's going to be happening with the ownership group over there, but Ricky Stenhouse Jr. will stay in the number 47 car at least through the 2027 NASCAR Cup Series season. Then it was confirmed in early May that Dale Jr. would be joining Amazon in TNT starting in 2025. It's unknown how long his contract is, so it's probably going to go through the 7 years that they're going to be on there, and Dale Jr. will be able to build up a broadcast team that he'll be able to use for the 2025 season. Then it was announced in the middle of May that Michael McDowell will be leaving Front Row to join Spire Motorsports in 2025, driving a number 71 car, and it is a multi-year deal. It was also confirmed a couple weeks ago that he'll have Travis Peterson as the crew chief for 2025. They both had a really good working relationship at Front Row so far this year, and Michael McDowell will be able to help Spire grow as he's been a solid driver at Front Row for many, many years. Then it was confirmed after the Darlington win that Chris Buescher has signed a multi-year extension with RFK Racing during the offseason. Chris Buescher's contract was only supposed to go through 2024, but he'll stick around with RFK for a very long time and continue trying to build up this program for many, many years to come. Then there's been a lot of chatter about Jr Motorsports looking to go Cup Series racing. But if they're going to go Cup racing, they're going to need a charter. And right now, there's not a lot of charters available. Now, there's been rumors about new investors coming in, and they could convince a team like Jr Motorsports to move up. We know the Harding Steinbrenner group is looking to basically work, and I could definitely see them working with Jr Motorsports to make the jump up with maybe the New York Yankees working with them. We could see JRM join the NASCAR Cup Series in the not-so-distant future. Then in late May, it was announced that Carl Edwards has had some interest in maybe coming back to NASCAR, but instead of coming back as a race car driver, he could come back as a broadcaster. He said the reason he won't be coming back as a driver most likely is because he's going to need a lot of commitment, especially with how much the sport has changed over the last 7-8 years. Carl Edwards will not be coming back to be working as a driver, but instead he could come back, like I mentioned, as someone in a booth. He said he really enjoyed working in the booth with Fox last year, and we could see him find a way to join NASCAR in other area, like maybe working with Amazon or TNT in 2025. Then it was reported by Jordan Bianchi a couple months ago that Bubba Wallace is close to signing a multi-year contract extension with 2311 Racing. Now, that contract extension has still not been announced at this time, but we do believe that Bubba Wallace is going to return to the organization in the 2025 season. Bubba Wallace has been doing a really good job with 2311 Racing in 2024, having a career year so far with the most top 10s he ever had in a year. He's getting close to having a record for most laps led he's ever had in a year, and Bubba Wallace will be back with 2311 Racing in 2025. Then it was confirmed a couple months ago that Austin Dillon has signed a multi-year contract extension with Richard Childers Racing. He'll be in the 3-car lease through 2026. He could retire at the end of the 2026 season to move to more of an executive role, but he'll be back with the RCR organization for 2025 in the number 3 car, despite the rumors of him retiring at the time. Then it was confirmed in late May to early June that Hos Racing will be shutting down at the end of 2024. Hos Racing will be rebranding to another organization we're going to talk about here in just a little bit, but they'll be shutting down. They're getting rid of like 320 employees, or 323 employees are going to be gone, but Hos Racing will be officially shutting down at the end of 2024, unfortunately. One of the teams that's expected to pick up an SHR charter is 2311 Racing. They're looking to expand in 2025, and they will likely get one of the SHR charters. 2311's had interest. Of course, the charter deal's still not done, but they will get an SHR charter most likely in 2025. One team we know that's acquired a charter is Row Motorsports. They have acquired a charter from SHR. They will be a 3-car team in the 2025 season. According to a report from Adam Stern, that charter is worth $20 million. So Front Row will officially expand to a 3-car operation next season. A driver that will be back with Row Motorsports is Todd Gillan, as Todd Gillan confirmed a couple months ago that he has signed a multi-year contract extension with Row Motorsports. The number is still to be announced at this time, but we do believe that he'll be likely back in the number 38 car with the same group he's been working with so far in 2024. He'll stay in the 38 car once again in 2025. A driver that could be headed to 2311 Racing next year is Riley Herbst. There's been rumors he could be getting into third 2311 Racing seat for next year, though it's unclear if they're going to get that charter. He can go to a team like RFK Racing as well, but we do think that Riley Herbst is a favorite and a candidate to go over to 2311 Racing for the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series season with the team. It was announced at the Iowa weekend that Marri Jr. will officially retire from full-time racing at the end of 2024. However, he will be likely returning part-time with 2311 Racing in the NASCAR Cup Series. He confirmed this past weekend at Daytona that he's very close to announcing plans to run the 2025 Daytona 500. With JR helping in a big way, he'll be likely driving for 2311 Racing in the Daytona 500 and driving part-time with JR and Xfinity and also a Tricon in trucks next year. Now we want to talk about Kyle Busch, as Kyle Busch did confirm a few months ago that he'll be returning to Richard Childress Racing in 2025. There have been talks about him potentially going to a team, let's say like Spire Motorsports, to drive the number 7 car for next year, but that will not likely happen. And with RCR's big improvement of performance as over the last couple of weeks, I don't think Kyle Busch leaves in 2025. But I do think there's a good chance, though, in the 2026 season, we could see Kyle Busch go to Spire Motorsports that year. Then it was confirmed about a month and a half ago that Josh Berry will be officially joining the Wood Brothers in 2025. He'll drive the number 21 car, bring a little sponsorship funding over there. And while it hasn't been announced the crew chief, many speculate that Jeremy Bones is going to be the crew chief for this team in 2025. Josh has earned a ride and opportunity, and I think he's going to do exceptional and do a really good job over at the Wood Brothers next year. This means that Harrison Burton will not be back at the Wood Brothers in 2025. There's been some speculation as of recently that he can end up at a team like AM Racing potentially in 2025, or could head to Tricon Garage in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. He could take the 17 cars. We're going to talk about Taylor Gray here in just a little bit, but AM Racing is a team that I heard is a big possibility. We could see him heading over to AM Racing in 2025. A team that Harrison Burton was talking to was also the Hos Factory team. However, we got confirmation that they will be retaining a Stewart-Haas Racing charter for 2025. They're going to have 1 Cup team and 2 Xfinity Series teams for 2025. Joe Custer is going to manage the operation, as Gene Haas is going to be focused on basically the F1 program, and they are going to have an RFK Racing Alliance next season. They're looking to build up their program in Xfinity and build up their Cup program in 2025. Then it was confirmed in early July that Chase Briscoe will be driving the 19 car for Joe Gibbs Racing in 2025 with James Small as the crew chief. James Small and the 19 team are pretty much staying the same, as Bass Pro is going to sponsor for a majority of races next year, and we'll see Chase Briscoe get the chance and opportunity to drive for a really good team in the 2025 season. A driver that is still at Joe Gibbs Racing also is Eric Almirola. There have been rumors that Eric Almirola had been fired from Joe Gibbs Racing, but obviously he's sticking around with the team at least for this year. It's unknown if he will be back with Joe Gibbs Racing in 2025, as he could just focus on spending time with his family going forward. We will see Eric Almirola be still at Joe Gibbs Racing at least through 2024. Then it was shockingly announced about a month and a half ago that Rodney Childers will be joining Spire Motorsports in 2025, driving and basically being the crew chief for the number 7 car. This is really shocking for a lot of people, but I think he's going to build Spire Motorsports program up. He's a fantastic crew chief, one of the best crew chiefs in the business. I think he's going to be able to really help the organization grow in the 2025 season and really help Spire continue to make the investments they need. Then it was announced in the middle of July that Noah Gragson would be officially joining from Row Motorsports in 2025 on a multi-year deal. It is unknown what number he'll be driving at this time, but we do believe that Noah Gragson, more than likely in 2025, will be driving the number 34 car of Love's Travel Stop, most likely being the sponsor for Noah Gragson in 2025. There's been a lot of reports about silly season in the world of TV. Marri Smith could potentially be headed to Amazon in 2025 to maybe be the play-by-play announcer. We also know Alan Bestwick's also interested in going over there for 2025 at this time, but Marri Smith, who's been good friends with Dale Jr., could be headed over to Amazon next season. Another person that could be headed over there is Steve Letarte. Steve Letarte's had commitments at NBC so far this year, but we do think that Steve Letarte will be going over there to be like the crew chief analyst for the team next year. And I think Steve Letarte's done a really good job with NBC. I think he'll be over at Amazon next year. One person that could be leading the CW in 2025 is Adam Alexander. He is a currently candidate to go to the CW for next year, as Adam Alexander has been rumored to go over there. He's done a really good job covering Xfinity over the last couple of years, the last 10 years, I should say. I think he will officially be headed over there in 2025 for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Then it was announced about a month ago that Trackhouse Racing has sold a minority ownership stake to Avenue Sports Fund. This sports fund is owned by Mark Lasbury, who used to be the owner of the Milwaukee Bucks. They'll be bringing a lot of money in cash flow into Trackhouse Racing as that organization looks to grow and looks to develop their program for the 2025 year and get better, considering they will officially be expanding to a 3-car team next season. One driver that's hoping to be in the NASCAR Xfinity Series full-time in 2025 is Carson Quaffle. There is a chance that Carson could be full-time with JRM next year, as Carson's had a really strong year with him in his select Xfinity Series races. I think there's a really good chance of possibly that he'd be full-time with JRM next year, with the drivers that are likely getting out of the team going into 2025. I think he may end up full-time with the team in the 2025 season. Then it was confirmed at the Indianapolis weekend that Cole Custer will officially join the Hos Factory team in 2025, driving the number 41 car. He will have a crew chief from Eric. I think the former crew chief crew chief will be the spotter, or basically the engineer for the organization at RFK, will be the crew chief for Cole Custer. Cole, I think, is going to have a better chance and opportunity to perform, and I think he'll do a really solid and good job with this team, and I think he'll do better in Cup than he's done the previous time he was in the NASCAR Cup Series. After Kyle Larson had won the Brickyard 400, he said he was hoping to still run the Indy 500 in 2025. He technically had a 2-year contract to run with McLaren, but they're still working on the details for him to get the chance and opportunity to do that. But we do think that Kyle Larson most likely will get the chance and opportunity to run the Indy 500 once again in 2025. Then it was confirmed during the break on the second week of the break that Cory LaJoie will not return to Spire Motorsports in 2025. After struggling quite a bit this year and not having a strong season, they wanted to bring someone else in who we'll talk about later. Now, he's been rumored to a couple teams. Ricker Racing is one of them. He could stay in the Cup Series next year, and McAnally Hilgeman Racing is another team that I have heard where he could end up in the Truck Series in 2025. I think Cory will find a ride going to 2025, but at the same time, he has struggled and will not be back with Spire Motorsports next year. Then there was this wild rumor going around about Pitbull maybe leaving Trackhouse Racing, but Pitbull will still be with Trackhouse Racing for the long term in the foreseeable future. He's not going anywhere despite the crazy rumors. We will not see him leave. He will stay with Trackhouse Racing for the long term in the foreseeable future with the organization for many, many years to come. Then there's been a lot of chatter about Corey Day potentially running some NASCAR Xfinity Series races in 2025. And there's rumors right now that he might make a couple Truck Series starts with Spire Motorsports before the end of this season. Corey Day is one of the hottest prospects in the lower series. He, of course, has made his ARCA start earlier this year at Salem and is basically being considered the next Kyle Larson. We may see him in the Truck Series part-time for the end of this year. Then it was confirmed in early August that Conor Zill would officially be joining Jr Motorsports in 2025, driving a number 88 car. Conor Zill is a really talented race car driver. He's making a lot of starts with JRM before the end of this year. I think Conor is going to do a great job with Junior Motorsports in 2025, and I think he's going to be a major threat for the championship in 2025. Then it was confirmed about 2 or 3 weeks ago that Daniel Suarez will officially be returning to Trackhouse Racing in 2025. But shockingly, it's only a 1-year deal. This surprised me. I thought it was going to be a multi-year deal for Daniel Suarez, but this is basically a prove-it year. If he struggles, and let's say Conor Zill performs extremely well next year in Xfinity, I think Daniel Suarez could be on the chopping block, but he will for sure be back at Trackhouse Racing in 2025. Then there's been a lot of chatter about Taylor Gray, and it sounds like he might be headed to Joe Gibbs Racing in the Xfinity Series in 2025, most likely in the number 19 car. Taylor Gray's been doing a really good job in the select races he's had and has really improved his craft throughout this season. I think he's ready to make the jump up, and I think there's a really good chance he will be in the Xfinity Series full-time with JGR next season. Another driver that's expected to go full-time with Joe Gibbs Racing in 2025 is William Sawalich. William will make his NASCAR Xfinity Series debut at Homestead Miami Speedway when he turns 18 years old. William's been doing a really good job in the lower series in ARCA. He has struggled a little bit in the truck series this year, but I do think that the Xfinity car might suit him a lot better than the truck does. I think he will do solid with the team next year. Another driver that might be also headed back to Joe Gibbs Racing in 2025 is Brandon Jones. It's heavily rumored that Brandon Jones will not be back with Junior Motorsports in the 2025 season, and likely will be going to Joe Gibbs Racing to drive either the number 19 or the number 20 car next year. Brandon has worked with Joe Gibbs Racing in the past and had a lot of success with that organization. I really do believe that he'll be very solid if he does end up over there. It sounds like he might be headed over to Joe Gibbs Racing in 2025. This means that Chandler Smith most likely will not be back with Joe Gibbs Racing next year. It sounds like he's moving on and going to another organization. There's rumors about him maybe going back to Colin at points, but it sounds like he could also be in the running for a front row car. He could also go to a team like Junior Motorsports. Chandler Smith's been flipping organizations as of recently. Of course, drove for Colin Racing for a year. Then he goes back to JGR, and it sounds like he might have another opportunity somewhere, and it could shockingly be with Front Row next year. Another driver that might be in the Xfinity Series next, however, is Christian Eckes. According to rumblings and reports, Christian Eckes is the favorite to drive the number 16 car in the NASCAR Xfinity Series with Colin Racing. Christian Eckes has done a very solid job in the past. I think he's absolutely ready to make the jump up, and I think Christian will do a very solid and great job, and I think will do good if he does go to the Xfinity Series in 2025. Then it was announced about 2 weeks ago that Erik Jones has signed a multi-year contract extension with Legacy Motor Club. He had been a driver that was in the running to go over to the number 7 for Spire Motorsports, but Erik Jones will stay with Legacy Motor Club for the next couple of years as he looks to try to build up the Legacy program and get better for the remainder of this year and through the next couple of years with the Legacy Motor Club organization. Then it was announced once again about 2 weeks ago that AJ Allmendinger will be returning to the NASCAR Cup Series full-time in 2025, driving number 16 car for Colin Racing. There have been chatter about this. There have been rumors about him going back to Cup for 2025, and I think he's ready to make the jump up. He should never have left the Cup Series to begin with. I think he's going to do a lot better job in the Cup Series this time around, and I think he's truly ready to go back up to the Cup Series and perform in that organization in 2025 once again. Then about a week or so ago, it was reported by Adam Stern that RFK Racing could be expanding in 2025 to a 3-car organization. With rumors of Kroger, like I mentioned earlier, headed over to RFK Racing next year, they're going to need the inventory, and they're going to need another car for that inventory. The favorite right now is Ryan Preece, according to Adam Stern, if they do end up expanding. Brad was asked about this. He said not today, but it does sound like there's a good chance that RFK Racing could expand to a 3-car operation in 2025. Then it was confirmed during the Michigan weekend that Sheldon Creed and Sam Mayer will officially join the Hos Factory team full-time in the NASCAR Xfinity Series in 2025. Sheldon Creed will drive the 00 car, and Sam Mayer will drive the number 41 car next year. Sheldon Creed, there have been rumors about it, so it doesn't surprise or shock me, but Sam Mayer, in my opinion, a big surprise, which confirms he will not be back with Junior Motorsports next year. I think both drivers are very talented, and I think they'll do a solid and great job with this team in 2025. This also confirms that Hailie Deegan will not be joining the Hos Factory team in 2025. Her future in NASCAR is very uncertain. She could go back to the Truck Series potentially, but there's new rumors circulating that she might go to IndyCar or drive like an IndyCar type series next year. Hailie Deegan, I think, deserves to be in NASCAR. I think she will get that chance and opportunity maybe in the future. Maybe she's going to go find another opportunity elsewhere and maybe try out IndyCar and see what she can do over there in the 2025 season. Then it was confirmed this past weekend at Daytona that Dale Dye will officially join Kaulig Racing full-time in 2025, driving the number 10 car. Dale Dye has done solid in the Truck Series, but I'm not exactly sure he's ready to move up to Xfinity full-time. That being said, he has shown a lot of improvement, and he's done a lot better job this year than he's done in previous years. I think he's done a good job in the Truck Series this year. It was also confirmed during that same press conference that Josh Williams will officially be returning to Kaulig Racing in 2025. Josh Williams has not had a great year this year with Kaulig, but I think another year is deserved in my opinion to see what he can do. I think he will do better next year. He will have, of course, Eddie Pardue as a crew chief most likely for 2025, and I think one more year in the NASCAR Cup Xfinity Series I think is deserved for him. One driver we know that will also be back at Jr Motorsports next year is Sammy Smith, as he'll either drive the number 8 car or the number 1 car next year. Sammy Smith has sponsorship from Pilot Flying J. They've had a big partnership with Pilot Flying J for many, many years when Michael Nett was over there. And I think Sammy Smith, despite struggling this year in Xfinity, I think one more year is deserved to see what he can do. And if you got the sponsorship and funding, you're most likely going to stay with the team that you've been driving for many, many years. Another driver to be back at Jr Motorsports is Justin Allgaier. Justin Allgaier, of course, has a brand sponsorship. There were rumors last year that he could be going to Kaulig Racing for this year, but obviously that did not end up happening and panning out. We will see Justin Allgaier for sure returning to Jr Motorsports in the NASCAR Xfinity Series in 2025 and see what he can do. Then it was confirmed during Daytona week that Zane Smith will not be returning to Trackhouse Racing in 2025. They will finish the year off driving number 71 car, but where does Zane Smith go? Most likely Zane Smith is headed back to Front Row Motorsports next season to drive one of their cars. Zane is rumored to go back over there for a couple months, and the fact he's had a past working relationship with Front Row Motorsports, I think he's ready to have another opportunity with that organization, and I truly do believe that Zane Smith will do a lot better with Front Row. I think he ends up going over there in 2025 to drive the third car. Then there's been a lot of chatter about Ty Dillon potentially joining Kaulig Racing in the Cup Series in 2025, which could mean that Dale Hemrick could be out at the end of this year. Dale Hemrick, in my opinion, has done okay, but if you got sponsorship and funding like Kaulig is looking for, it does make some sense. Sam Mayer had been rumored for this ride, but obviously, of course, is going to Hos Factory team. So we do think that Ty Dillon more than likely will be back in the NASCAR Cup Series probably full-time next year, and we do think it's going to be with Kaulig Racing in 2025. Then it was confirmed on Saturday that Shane Van Gisbergen, after months and months of speculation, he will join the NASCAR Cup Series full-time in 2025 at Trackhouse Racing with, instead of the number 97, he'll drive the number 88 car. Steven Durant is going to be the crew chief for him, who of course has been the crew chief for Zane Smith so far. He is going to have a lot of high expectations, of course, in the 2025 season, but I think SVG is ready to make the jump. I think he's done a great job. He's won 3 races in Xfinity, and he's someone who is going to, in my opinion, get a couple wins and victories and could have a really great career. If he's in Cup for 5 to 10 years and let's say gets 2 or 3 wins a year, he could end up having a 15 to 20 win Cup career, which could put him in the candidacy maybe in the future of being a future NASCAR Hall of Famer. And finally, we talk about Justin Haley. There's been a lot of speculation that Justin Haley could be headed to Spire Motorsports in 2025 to drive the number 7 car. I think Justin Haley would do a lot better than Cory LaJoie has done, and obviously he's had to work with RFK and Rick Ware, but I do think more than likely going into the 2025 season, you're going to see Justin Haley drive the number 7 car, and I think he'll do very solid with that car if he does truly end up going there in the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series season. So, that is going to be it for the NASCAR Silly Season update going into September. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so notified when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support on Patreon as well. Listeners below that, and comment your thoughts below on today's episode. What are thoughts about the silly season update? Let me know in the comments below. There's probably not going to be another silly season update till the middle or late September once more news comes out. There might be another video about Mexico City getting announced later today, as it will be announced later this afternoon. On Wednesday, we're going to have a NASCAR news video, and we're also, of course, going to have the Xfinity race picks, and all throughout the next couple weeks, as we take it to the playoffs, we'll have a lot of great content dropping. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.